Hey everybody, it's Mocha D. Love you guys mucho. I know it's been a little while. So there's two hot topics that I want to talk about today. I'm going to talk about two things: social media anxiety and sexual harassment. So, what prompted me to want to talk about this is an event that happened to me yesterday. And I thought that it would be a great idea for us to talk about it with our girls, including my daughter, who's here listening, and just have an open conversation about anxiety and social media anxiety, right? And sexual harassment. So stay tuned for another hot topic. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and view my channel. All right, guys, ready? Ready. All right. So social media anxiety, right? It stems from many different things. I think for me, as my channel and as my social media began to grow, I began to exhibit social media anxiety. I guess from the attention, you get a lot of unwanted attention, right? And sometimes inappropriate attention. And when I say inappropriate, like you'll have things like people just calling you randomly on Facebook Messenger or messaging you inappropriately or unwantingly, right? It's nothing wrong with sliding in a girl's DM and saying, hey, what's up? But then when it gets to a point where it's like inappropriate, I've had somebody even send me like inappropriate nudes, like, and I think for me that causes a little bit of withdrawal. Maybe for some people they crave that type of attention, but for me, my social media and my YouTube is really just an outlet and a voice, and I just really want to be heard, and I want people to hear me that are going through the same struggles. Social media for me is like an investment. I always want to have the best of me always out to the universe, and that's what social media allows. And also you can definitely monetize on that, right? By doing investing in brands and doing marketing for other brands. I've had, people ask me to do those type of things and getting monetized on YouTube. So social media has a lot of pros, more pros than I would say con, but it can cause some anxiety where like for a few days I won't post, and I just want my fans to know that I'm not posting not because I don't love you guys, and I'll never go more than a week or two without updating you guys and having hot topic and good poetry for you guys, but I can see how celebrities get overwhelmed with fame. I always said in my life, I want the money, definitely not the fame. But they go hand in hand a lot of the times, right? Um, and I think how I cope with it is withdrawal. Like I'll check out social media, but I won't post, or I'll stop. I won't post for a couple of days, or I'll delete the app for a couple of days. Really just to cleanse and just to really be a part of the world. Like sometimes I think we get caught up in social media that we forget that it is social media and that we do have a real life, right? And I think it has great aspects of meeting people. Like, I met my man on social media, so it does have a lot of great pros. However, I think we need to be more respectful of people's space and not think that you can just pry because their pages are open, and we're open for a reason. And don't make us feel like we shouldn't be open with the world. And I think that's where social media anxiety comes from with me. It's like the negative attention, which I dislike. So what prompted me to talk about sexual harassment was an incident that happened to me yesterday. So as I'm getting off the train, I feel somebody go, ah, literally on my butt. I turned around and I was like, I'm from New York. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, are you out your mind? And then the nurse in me kicked in, the mom in me kicked in, because the guy was like, are you talking to? You touched me, so I'ma touch you. And I don't know if I nudged this man by accident and that was his response, which was totally a negative response because it turned into a sexual harassment, like you're physically touching me now response. But, you know, it led me to feel like you just violated me in the most personal way. So I could only imagine what rape victims feel like, or victims that have been sexually abused, what it feels like. Because it's like I was so mad. And then it prompted me to think about all the sexual harassment I've been through in my lifetime, not just on social media, but like when you're walking down the street and a guy's hollering at you unwantingly, like you might be on the phone. And I think at what point does it not become just a man being a man, but you're invading another person's space? Like I've had men try to talk to me when I'm with my kid inappropriately, you know, as I'm walking into my building. You know, I think that as men and as a society, I challenge us to be more mindful with the way we treat our women and the way we treat each other. Because this can really cause anxiety amongst women. Sometimes, like, we shouldn't have to feel weary about walking down the street in a crowd of men. I mean, there was something that I saw on YouTube, a challenge of how many times a woman gets hit on in a day. And this woman had on like regular jeans, maybe a little crop top, but she wasn't like vulvacious. And imagine if a woman has really a lot of curves, how much attention and unwanted attention that she might get. But she was regularly dressed, not inappropriate, not that it matters, but it just shows you. And I think they said over the course of a day, like 35 different men either looked at her unwantedly or sexually kind of harassed her, said inappropriate things. So I feel as if there's a fine line between trying to get a woman's attention, and I think that's your mother's job. That is your mother's job to teach you, and your father's job to teach you what are therapeutic ways or healthy ways to approach a woman that you find attractive. So I leave that to say that I challenge the world. I challenge us to be better with each other. And to end that story off, I ended up cooling off, and I think my video just got interrupted. My daughter's driver just called. But nonetheless, the incident ended off with me, with the guy just kind of walking away and me walking away, because I realized that he had more than just, he was more than just trying to sexually harass me. He had, like, you can tell, a visual mental health issue. And I definitely will file a police report, because no other woman should go through that in New York City. It was on 85th Street, a very crowded area, so you could tell it's more than a sexual harassment incident, but inappropriate nonetheless. He had on all blue, blue Crip flag, looked at Hispanic in his mid-30s. Girl, ladies, watch out. So yeah, I'm tuning out. Love you guys mucho. I'm going to the gym, so I love you guys, and be safe and be good to one another. And men, there's nothing wrong with complimenting a beautiful woman. There's nothing wrong with wanting to talk to women, but just make it so it's not a harassment thing, and you're just complimenting a beautiful woman or wanting to talk to a beautiful woman. And don't be rude if she doesn't want to talk to you back, because she doesn't have to. It's Mocha D, and I'm tuning out.